Welcome to the Healing and Love series, where we have real conversations about love, healing, growth, and truth. I am your host, Coach Takenya K. Johnson, and today's conversation is for the person who has ever gone back to something, thinking this time it will be different. I'm sitting down again with the author, Jamil T. Huie, the author of The Concept of Love, The Science in Love. We're about to dive into a powerful part of his story, his relationship with sunshine. You know, sunshine, that's love, that's timing, and the truth that we ignore. Jamil, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Kenya? Hope all is
I
well.
am wonderful. I am so glad to have you back in this space with me. Like
Uh,
we've been doing these videos for quite some time now. I've
yeah,
been
and it's
thoroughly enjoying them. I've been having a lot of feedback from different people. They've been enjoying these. They've been going back and watching the clips or the videos on different platforms. And I am so glad to be back in this space with you today.
same here. It's been very real. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's been very real because now it's like once you open the doors, you're opening the doors to your life. So when you open the doors to your life, people tend to open the doors to their lives as well. So it's like the conversations that I keep saying it keeps getting deeper and deeper. Questions are more like personal now. So it's like it's pretty dope. The reactions, the conversations, the just the experience itself has been pretty dope.
Yeah, because people want to know who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is not just about, a relationship. This is about timing. It's
Mhm.
about ego, emotional needs, and the truth we ignore that we call love is actually, familiarity. Because sometimes what we call love is actually unfinished business.
Oh, I like that. Unfinished.
Yeah. So sunshine re-entered your life.
Mhm.
You were in a season of discipline, focus, building, almost to the point of isolation. So, what did that version of you look like, and what did it cost you emotionally?
That version of me, like you say, was basically focused, and I did isolate myself from the world because I wasn't in the world at the time. I was just in my own space mentally. I couldn't. I felt weird talking to people because I think at that point it was like my social interaction was kind of weird. If
Mm-hmm.
because it's like I didn't feel like I knew how to socialize at that time. Because sometimes, when you're just so embedded in what you're doing, it's like
Mm-hmm.
things become awkward. So my conversations with others, I used to get so I don't want to say annoyed, but I used to get like certain conversations I just didn't want to be a part of, unless it was
Mm-hmm.
about building or creating something or how am I going to make this money, how I'm going to get where I want to go, health and financially, because those were my only two focus thing at the time. So yes, I was deep deeply in focus and deeply embedded in what I was doing because I believed in my mission. It was something I wanted to do since I was a child. I said, yes, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be wealthy. I want to be able to take care of my families in ways that I've never been capable of because of the things that happened to me. I didn't want the same things to happen to my kids or anyone I love or care about. So yes, I was so focused that I did isolate myself from everyone. And then my social life was just non-existence at the time.
Yeah. So when Sunshine came back, she came back needing you.
Yes.
So what did that awaken in you? Was it love or the desire to be needed?
It was more love because at the time it's like remember I was alone and I was starting to date at the time, but it was like I was alone on a mission. And sometimes when you on a mission alone, it's like you just need somebody there, like companion, to be some type of support or something like that. Anything, like any little type of buzz, which is my fault of my own because of I times I isolate myself and distance myself from others. So when she did come back, it was a moment of love because I did remember what we were before we ended up not being together anymore. We were something special. We had an amazing relationship. It was growing in the right direction at the time. You know what I mean? Everything was
Mhm.
basically where it needed to be. Our communication was good. Our, careers was good. We was on the right path and then things kind of happened in between because as we spoke about, a lot of times we're growing apart and we don't really
Mhm.
realize it. And at that point, she was evolving into something else and I was evolving into something else as well. And then it just kind of just caused some type of friction in between that we never stopped to took a look at. Which brings me back to think about, okay, if if it was that easy, not saying it was easy because we was together for a few years or, a good substantial amount of time. It was just like, okay, what was our foundations built on? And when I think about it now, the foundations probably wasn't strong enough at the time because we never discussed, hey, what is this relationship is about? A lot of times in relationships, we don't talk about that. We just fall in love, the cup falls, we bump heads, we look at each other's eyes, oh my God, I'm in love. But then what are you in love on? Like, what is the foundation? What are we building on? Are we building on finance, respect? Are we building on something that we can say, you know what, when the walls are caving in, can this sustain us to get through this moment in time? And that's basically what it was. It was just basically me and her. I saw her, the sparks flew. I was like, okay, yes, this is something I know. This is something familiar. I understand what we used to have, not realizing that what we used to have is not what we need right now.
Mm. So you described in one part that the connection had gotten intense
Yes.
to the point where you started to cloud your decisions. At that
Yes.
point, did you realize that you were losing clarity in that relationship?
Yeah, because it's basically I got caught up in the moment. And a lot of times we do get caught up in the moment, like we said, our serotonin, stuff like that, start acting up our hormones, and then we're thinking this is factual. We're not realizing that, yes, it's amazing. It feels great. This is a great experience. But what is the world around you saying? Is it
Mm.
saying this is forever or is it saying that somebody just needs you for the moment? And in that moment, I felt like we were forever. Spoke about getting married, spoke about having a kid. We spoke about a lot of things. And it's like I fell into that trap of saying, you know what? Yes, my stop is here. Because that was basically what my pause in the moment was to find that person that, hey, I could go on this journey with. I could say, you know what, we're going to travel, we're going to build together, we're going to create this world that we do not need a vacation from. And that's what made me say, you know what, made me pivot and say, you know what, this makes sense. I know this person, I understand this person knows me, this person understands me. So the climb, I can say, is not going to be as difficult as it is with meeting someone new, as in
Mm.
sunflower. At the time I was with her, but that was something new. That was a mountain that had to be climbed. It was both mountains had to be climbed. Just one mountain was shorter than the other. And a lot of
Mhm.
times, so most of the times we actually pick the easier mountain, not realizing sometimes the harder mountain is the better mountain to climb up to. So yes, it was an easy transition. So the decision was easily made.
Mm. You say you were honest with her, but
Yes.
she wasn't fully honest with you. So do you feel that early on and you just ignored it, or
Yeah, I
did it
ignored it
reveal
because
itself later?
it revealed itself in the beginning because there are signs, you know what I mean? Conversations, phone calls, not answering certain calls at certain times, certain things that happen, conversation, what's going on, how was your day, holes in the story, stuff like that. But again, we ignore these things because we tell ourselves a story. A lot of times you're living on a story, you're living on a potential. You're not living on the actual actions of individuals. Like somebody's showing you who they are, try to believe it, but we ignore that because of the potential of the story in our head, the magical ending, the princess, and you're the knight, and you came and you saved this princess, and you run off into the sunset, and you live this amazing, beautiful dream. But that's not reality. Reality is life is a dragon, yes, but it's not easily conquered. We have to look at life in a more wider spectrum. When we're going through our valleys and our fights and our ups and our downs, we got to like look at it. Stop for a second and I get it. Life is busy. As we was talking when I was getting on the phone, he was like, you must have had a busy morning. I'm like, yeah, I took some time off because I told you I was experiencing burnout for the last month or so. But with me, I don't now the new me is I'm burned out. I need some time off. The
Mhm.
old me is I'm burned out, but I ain't stopping until I get this goal done. Like, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I now understand it has to be a balance. I can't kill myself expecting to climb this mountain and make it. You gotta climb the mountain, you're gonna stop, you know what I mean? Plug your I don't even know what the gear is, and you're gonna rest for a second. You know what? All right, my shoulders is good, let me climb some more. So,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Basically, that's what it is. It's just like I just felt like it just made sense for me and her. You know what I mean? And that's where I got lost in the moment. It just made so much sense. But then I lied to myself. You know? She's
Yeah.
just busy like I'm busy. Things are happening. This makes sense. You know what I mean? Imagine what we can be because of what we were. Not realizing that in the moment that we was growing together, we were growing apart.
Mm.
So imagine now that we're back together, how much far apart has we grown?
Mm,
We don't know until we actually dig. You know what I
mm,
mean? So somebody's growing with you and then you grow apart and then somebody else now they growing with someone else. Because remember now it's like we gotta understand, I don't mean to keep going, but we gotta understand that when we're living with somebody or talking to somebody, we're building their habits as well. So we're growing
mhm,
together and we living together. So that space she was in, that's who she was growing with and who she became accustomed to. Is just things wasn't working out a certain way. And she just needed to say, you know what, I gotta step back because shit, excuse my language, things are falling apart right now, and I know
mhm,
somebody that I can depend on. So there's a
mhm,
rock here, but how am I going to ask this rock for help? And her decision to ask me for help was in the form of, hey, let's make this work, let's do this, let's do that, instead of just saying, hey, something is happening, I just need your help right now in this way. So
mm,
she made that decision, and then I made the decision to believe that story. And then once I took that story in its format, how she told it to me, I also added my story to it. And then that's when things started spiraling because now I'm falling in love again. I'm feeling this feeling again. I'm thinking like, yes, this is it. Yes, let's go. Yes, let's go make it. And then the results came out because I ignored all the signs, all the red flags of everyone would say. You got to look at the red flags as well as the green flags and understand that when somebody is presenting themselves, read the entire book, understand the chapter of the book, and say, does this make sense for me? Is this going to hurt me in the long run? We don't read the whole chapter. We read the first page and say, yes, this is it. And we just run with it. And that's what happened with me. I just ran with it and I jumped off the cliff.
mm.
Yeah.
So when you finally came to her ready, ready to commit, ready to
Mhm.
build, ready to move forward, she said no.
Yes.
What did that do to you in that moment?
Um, it, all right. The thing about like lying to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
the problem because now you're living in that dream. And
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, okay, I'm standing on this roof, right? That's not sturdy. And then next thing you know, somebody just say, you know what? I'm gonna pull all of this away, and you're gonna fall all the way to the bottom. So that's basically what
Mm-hmm.
happened to me at that moment. It's like, what do you mean you don't want to go forward? Like we've been talking about this the whole time. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
shock to my system, my spirit, my mind, my body just basically shut down because I'm like, when you're having that conversation
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you're just frozen in time. And that's basically what happened to me. I was frozen in time. Like, okay, like we literally discussed this. I literally just said no to something that made sense to me. And I literally sacrificed so much because I believed in this situation. I believed that, you know what, love is going to make it this time. Love is going to
Mm-hmm.
work. Love is the answer when it wasn't. It was something that was needed, it was provided, and then now it's not needed anymore. So now I can move forward. And not saying she made the wrong decision, she made decisions based on my actions in the past as well. No one is perfect. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit here and say I was this perfect, amazing being because I wasn't. There was things that I was not doing at the time in our relationship. But at the time it was like you always hear this love is the answer for everything. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's always we're going through financial struggles, but you know what? We got love. We're going through
Mm-hmm.
these family issues, but you know what? We got love. We just went through the worst argument of our life, but we got love. But when you're young, love is, and not saying all young people, but you know what I mean? In my experience, when you're young, love seems to be the answers for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then guess what? The bills pile up. The problems just keep coming. So that now that love is not the answer, because now this person say, you know what? I'm not in love with being in love anymore. We have a lot of problems. And we're not fixing it because we keep screaming this, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. How are you going to fix these problems? You have to sit down and have a conversation. Come out of your stubbornness. Come out of the, yo, you know what? We working hard for this. We got to build this. Stop for a second. And I think we discussed it where we have a actual sit down and conversation of, yo, what's wrong with us? Or what's
Mm-hmm.
right with us? Doesn't have to always be wrong, but it can also be what's right with us. You understand? So it's like we fall into these traps. And then when the person told me no, I fell into the trap of, yes, we have issues, but we have love. And love is going to carry us through, is going to bring us over the mountain and through the skies into the heavens, and we're going to live this amazing, beautiful life. But that wasn't a scenario. It wasn't. For her, it wasn't. You know what I mean? For me, it was
Mm-hmm.
because I told myself a story. I gave myself potential. I said, yo, this is a story. I am the knight in shining armor. This is my princess. I'm going to slay this dragon and we're going to run off into the sunset. And that wasn't the case. The dragon of life that we ignore and not understand that this dragon is deceiving. It has a lot going on that you need to open your eyes, and you can see this. It's just open your eyes and realize that yes, you're young, and you can depend on certain things when you're younger. But as you get older, understand that life be life, and that dragon be dragon, and you have to slay that dragon, or you're going to be defeated. Like I was, I got defeated in my mind, and I let it all go because that one moment in time said, you know what, Jamel, you don't have everything under control. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's not, you can't maneuver this, you can't outwork this. This is reality. Like, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? The person told you how they felt, you thought something else, and then now you have to begin again, which you thought you did. But you know what I mean? Like I said, as the time went across or went by, I realized that these things happen for a reason because now you're building, now you're becoming a better man, you're becoming more understanding, more successful as you're riding. Now it's like how you was doing it before. Yes, it was you did the right thing, but were you doing the right thing the right ways? You know, so
Mm.
yes, it was a very traumatic, harsh moment for me once that note came out of her mouth.
Mm. So it crushed your ego.
It destroyed my ego. It took me out for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about love versus need, because this one is kind of deep. She admitted that she used you because she needed help.
Yes. Mhm.
So let me ask you this. Were you loving her or trying to save her and hoping she would love you back?
It's a combination of both. Because
Mm.
yeah, the saving part was the, hey, you know what? He saved me. He is the knight in shining armor, as you were saying before.
Yeah.
So now it's like I love you forever. Because I can never
Hmm.
pay you back for what you have just done for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was supposed to be the scenario, and that's the scenario I had in my head. So yes, I was helping. She needed it, but I think, in you know, what I mean, as I think about it now, I would have helped regardless if that wasn't in the picture. You know,
Yeah.
the story that was told to me, and I believed it, and I said, you know what? Let's try this. I think we can do this again. We can make this work. We can love again. We can be in
Hmm.
love again. We can do these things again. But yes, it was basically her needing something. I also needed something, a companion and somebody to ride with me, but it's like I was looking in the wrong direction.
Mm. After losing both Sunshine and Sunflower, you said you had everything and then nothing.
Yes.
What was the hardest truth you had to face about yourself in that season?
My ego. Like we
Mm.
just spoke about it, my ego, because I felt like, oh, I'm this amazing person. I'm the greatest guy in the world. I got these two women, they're going Google Gaga over me, whatever it is. And it's like I felt
Hmm.
like, yes, I can make a decision, and whatever decision I make, I'm gonna live the best life I can possibly live because I am the man. So yes, my ego got checked. It's kind of like, you know what, bro, calm down. Like you're gonna do this the right way or you're gonna do this another way.
Hmm.
You know, so it's like kind of like, did I do anything wrong? No, I did not because I kept my options open, and that was basically what it was. You know, what I mean, I was informed, like, you know, what I mean, you know, how you think about it, like, you know, you just go for the one thing, and then the one thing doesn't work out. But it's good to meet people, introduce yourself, talk, stuff like that. But then you got to also think as you're going. As I was going, I was not using my head. I was making money, probably a lot, not saying the most money I ever made in my life, but I was making a significant amount of money. I was
Hmm.
I was never a travel person when I was young. It was always work, 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 work. I wasn't a really going out person. So that was part of what was going on in my relationships. It was kind of like I worked so hard and I thought that was the answer to everything. But then
Hmm.
now as I'm in this moment in my time, then it's like now I'm going out, I'm chilling, I'm you know what I mean, popping, literally popping bottles,
Yeah.
traveling here, traveling there, like I'm doing good. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's also
Hmm.
I forgot my dreams while I'm doing this. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know how you look at your bank account like, damn, I did that. Like, let's go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So now it's
Yeah.
like I'm splurging, we living. Everywhere we go, I'm like paying for everything. The bill could be whatever the bill is. I don't care. We chilling. You know what I'm saying? So I
Hmm.
fell in love with the lifestyle and I fell in love with the I'm the man. I could go out on a date with this person. I'm gonna go out on a date with that person. I'm gonna chill, go to work, knock this out. Then I'm gonna do the whole thing again this weekend or the following weekend again. So, you know, what I mean, I fell in love with that part of the life of my life, and you know, what I mean, nothing is wrong with it. As I look back now, nothing was wrong with anything I did. It's just now I have to think about what I'm doing going forward. I have to be more precise, more calculated Can't be
Mhm.
splurging and doing all this extra excessive stuff and not looking at, okay, is this person actually here for me? Or they just here for an experience of me? Are you here for
Mm.
my personality, loving me as I am? You know what I mean? I'm a cool person, whatever it is I feel I am. You know what I mean? I love intellect, I love deep conversations, but now I also love, you know what I mean, enjoy myself. Before I didn't.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That was one thing I had to learn because and when my ex used to always say, you don't carry me out, you don't do this, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That was part of us like growing apart.
Mhm.
It's because I pictured a lifestyle of a family. Like this is my family, this is what we're doing, this is how we're gonna live our life. You know what I mean? But this other person, she wanted to at first, like this is what I was talking about, like not being in love with being in love anymore.
Mhm.
I mean, I hope people understand that statement. It's like you can be in love or Google Gaga working hard as a family, but then there's nothing else happening. Sometimes a person wants the limelight, they want the bottles, they want the travel, they want this stuff, and you're not providing that. And not saying you're wrong or that person is wrong or right or you're right or wrong, whatever it is, but you got
Mhm.
to understand the evolution of a relationship. And we spoke about this. You are evolving into something. But this other person is also evolving into something as well. And if you're
Yeah.
not dating or talking to each other, how can you possibly expect to keep growing together? And this is where the foundation of a relationship comes in. It's like, okay, you're growing, you're becoming something else. All right, what is that? And you have to have that curiosity of, you know what? This is the person I love. This is the person I've been with for so long. Am I curious to know who you are right now? What are your favorite
Mhm.
meals? I know your favorite meals was pineapples back in the day. But
Yeah.
what is it now? And why am I interested in finding that out? Because I know I love you. And I want the
Mhm.
best experience I can possibly give you by knowing who you are. This takes time. It's not something that's overnight because a lot of relationships I'm talking to people now, they saying like with their spouse, they try to have a conversation and it becomes World War III. They're just trying to figure out, like, hey, hun, what's going on? Because
Mhm.
the other person is not receptive of what's
Yeah.
trying to happen. So I'm not saying like it's so easy. I'm not, we're speaking words, the words are coming out easy, but the action itself, it's another task. And we got to realize that, yes, these are tasks in a relationship. And in order for something to keep growing and keep getting better, or get from worse to better, or from better to better, or if it's getting from better to worse, we have to have these conversations with intention with, hey, I am curious, I do want to know who you are. And that's a place where I lacked back then. Now I
Mhm.
talk when we go out, I talk after we go out, after a conversation. Hey, what's going on? Did you like this? What's going on? Where are we right now? What's going on?
Mhm.
After an intimacy. I sit there and say, hey, what did you like or did you not like? Did you enjoy everything or was there something else I could have done better as a man or as a person that we're together and we're doing what we're doing? And these are the
Mhm.
things we have to talk about. Finances. Finances is such a big, big, big deal. People don't understand that. Men, particularly us, we take that serious. So
Mhm.
sometimes because of societal norms or beliefs that men are supposed to be a certain things, some men are embarrassed of what they make financially. So that
Mhm.
becomes a very deep and harsh topic. So it's kind of like, yes, open up, speak, understand that there's more to a relationship than just, hey, we're in love, we're in love, we're in love. Yes, we're in love, but what are the other aspects of our situation? What's going on? What is our goals for the next 5 years or even the next 6 months? You know, so just keep learning, keep understanding conversations, knowing that you aren't the man, you are a man, and you are somebody,
Yes.
yes, but know that you got to put your ego aside in order for things to grow and things to develop in life. You know what I mean? So sometimes you do pick the wrong person. Yes. You know what I mean? We understand that. And sometimes the wrong person picks you. Or, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. Sometimes you are the wrong person for somebody. And we all
Mhm.
get that as well. Because I had to realize, like, yes, you're a great person, but guess what? You wasn't the right person for this person. You
Mm.
that villain. Like you got to get that part as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So yes, so it did set me straight, I guess, and to realize that yes, I'm here, but understand that there's more to this world than just what I'm centered around.
Yeah. So many people, they go back to who they only know how to love,
Mhm.
I guess, when they need a person. So, what would you say to the person who keeps revisiting the past, hoping for a different outcome?
That comes with change. It's like sometimes you don't understand why you're doing things, but you're just kind of doing it. You know, you
Mm,
get up in the morning, you brush your teeth. You get up in the morning, you drink porridge or you make eggs or whatever. But these are constant things we just do. It's things are a habit. Remember, your habits are developed based on who you are as an individual as you're growing, and as the experience changes, your habits change as well. So it's like you have to stop for a second. Yes, it's familiar. Yes, this one particular thing or two or three, whatever it is amazing, but the other parts are destroying you. It's like it's shredding you to the point that it's destroying, it's messing you up, and then now it's like you go back to the same breakup again. And it's like
mm,
never again, never again, never, and never becomes Tuesday. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? So now it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. Let's go to the club. We're gonna party. We're gonna boogie. We're gonna have this amazing night. And then we're gonna argue like we enemies in the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just it's we gotta understand is our bodies
Hmm.
familiarity. You know how you say that?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
It's,
very familiar. It's very easy because remember your body is a mechanism of making life easy for you. So it's like
hmm.
everything your body does is like to make things easier, but we got to go against the grain a little bit. And then it's like, okay, I know this hello. Somebody may say hello in a deep voice, or you may hear this hello. Oh, shoot, I know that hello. This other hello, I'm kind of afraid of because it's new. I don't know who that is. I don't know what their intentions are. But you already know
Hmm.
what their other intentions is. It's here to destroy. It's here to mess you up. It's here to put you down. But because you get that dopamine effect, that nice little spike of yes, I need to live a little bit, we make the same decisions over and over. So we gotta stop, and we always say, like we've been talking about lately, is like look within yourself. What do
Yeah.
I truly want out of this world? Like who do I want? You know what I mean? And then it's like we gotta sit there and say, okay, who do I want? And am I that person? You
Mm.
can't say, hey, you know what? I want this. I want love. I want compassion. I want success. I want this and that out of somebody else. I want giving. I want conversation. I want this. But are you able to provide what you're looking for? And most people aren't. Sorry to say, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We aren't what we're looking for. But look within yourself, create what you are. I remember I forgot her name, something fire. She was saying that. She was like was talking about um what is your list? Like, who are you type of person you're looking for? And then she said something so profound, like it just hit me in my chest. She was like, my list is me. She's like, I cannot
Yeah.
expect somebody. I was like, my list is me. I've never heard that in my life. But my list
Hmm.
is me. You know what I mean? Who you want should be you. You should want you and someone else. Because if you don't want you and somebody else, then you shouldn't be with somebody else. Because then it's like,
Right.
who are you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you want this, you want that, but you don't want to be around you. Like, how do you expect somebody else to gravitate to that or to live with that or to be with that? Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. I was watching a thing on IG the other day, and this girl was like, she was so distraught, she's so hurt. She's like, I just lost the greatest man in her. She just lost the greatest man in her life.
Mm,
She said this man did everything for her. He cooked, he cleaned, he worked, he paid all the bills. She basically was a princess. She didn't have to do nothing. And then next thing you know, he walked out of her life, right? So
mm,
as we always go to the comments because you got to see what the comments are saying. As I was
yeah.
scrolling through the comments, somebody said, I don't know who it was, and I apologize. I always want to give people their credit. Somebody said, okay, he was doing all of that for her, but was she doing for him? And that hit me because it's like we do and we want so much from everybody else. But what are we giving to them? You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And that says it all. It's like what are you giving? What are you willing to give if you want so much and you want this and that? So yes, we go back. Yes, we keep repeating the same mistakes over. Stop for a second, look within yourself, knowing that you don't want this, you just want something from this person, and then now you're gonna destroy each other walking out the door. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Build you,
hmm.
understand what you want, and then that person would align with you eventually. Be patient. Understand that patience is a virtue. It really is. Because things start happening once you start seeing yourself differently. Once you start doing things differently. You now brush your teeth with your left hand before you brush it with your right hand. New
Hmm.
neurons are growing. New frequencies are happening. Things are
Yeah.
happening in this world. And trust yourself. Trust who you believe in, who you are, and understand that you can make a different decision.
Mm. So I need to ask you this. Is it harder to lose someone you never had or someone you finally got, but it still didn't work out.
I think somebody that you had, because again, you remember there's already neurons developed for that person. And
Hmm.
then now it's like when you rekindle those neurons, new neurons are created with that person as well. So now the mind, the stories, everything is developing. Somebody new, yes, there's new stuff going on in your head, but remember that's new. You can forget that quickly. Something old is going to always remain and it's going to stay there in your memory bank. And then once that memory bank sparks, remember your mind is like an electrical bulb. It just like it just starts shooting off when things are happening. So now it's like it's a old flame, new sparks are added to it. So imagine what your body is going to go through with that breakup. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, hey, I broke up, my heart got hurt, my mind. Your body is now experiencing this thing because it's like now it's like cancer when cancer
Hmm.
goes into remission, right? And then once it comes back with a vengeance.
Hmm.
So heartbreak is pretty much the same thing. It's like cancer. It's gonna hurt you at first, but when it comes back, it's gonna come back with vengeance, and it's gonna tear you down to the worst that you can possibly feel. And that's why these repeat incidents keeps getting worse and worse because we gotta understand it's not just about, hey, this person hurt me more. No, your body remembers this, your mind
Hmm.
remembers this, your soul remembers this. And then now you're adding to it, and then now you're gonna go bring yourself into another disappointment, and now it's going to feel worse because now you got added injury, so to an old injury.
Hmm. So, what did your experience with Sunshine teach you about love, boundaries, and yourself?
What it taught me about love, boundaries, and about myself. Learn to open my eyes more. Learn to
Hmm.
open my eyes and look at the signs, look at things that's happening, knowing that you're not everything for everyone. You may be a part of something for someone, but you're not everything for everyone. And you gotta
Hmm.
realize that. Once you realize it, accept it, because if you don't accept it, it's just going to only be torture to you throughout your days and your nights or whatever it is. It's just going to hurt you. You know what I mean? You can be at work, like I said, I was going through this process, I'm going through life, you just stopping crying and you thinking about all this stuff, like it just made me feel low, you know. But then it taught me something, the one thing I learned about humanity, and it's like we always find words to define humanity as, you know what I mean? What is humanity? What are we as beings of intellect? And
Hmm.
we're resilient. So resilience is a major key in our life because like you got to understand as a child, as we're growing up, it's like we're going through all these trials and tribulations, but we're resilient through it. We're growing, we're becoming better. We're falling, but we're also getting up. You know what I'm saying? We continuously get up after the worst experiences in our lives. And we get up and we fight and we become better, we become stronger, we become wiser. And yes, we keep repeating things, but guess what? Each time, each incident, you're stronger, you're better, you're not dead yet, you're breathing. As long as you have life, there's hope. And that's basically what I learned. I learned as long as I have life, there is hope, there is more. Jamil, you're a resilient person. I appreciate your strength. I look at myself now and I'm like, yo, thank you. I've never done
Hmm.
that before. Now it's thank you for trying. Thank you for not giving up when you thought you lost everything.
Hmm. So, I want to ask you one final question before we close out. Looking back now, was Sunshine someone you were meant to build with, or was she someone you were meant to learn from?
Both, because I can't take nothing away from this person. Very highly intelligent. You know what I mean? Amazing person, brilliant, understand the dynamics of life, financially, business wise, things like that. So I learned a lot. I mean, she was
Mm-hmm.
also a lesson because now it's like I learned that, okay, things may look amazing. The cake may be designed great, but inside the cake may not be so tasty. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like understand what life is like. You learn, but it's also a gift. You know what I mean? She was a
Hmm.
gift. You know what I mean, I understood life, but I created a better life for myself because of her dynamics and how she did things, how intelligent she was. I learned from that. You know what I mean? But also I learned from that. Also I learned that be careful with your heart, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's fire right now, your dopamine's are shooting, but you'll be a little bit more careful because once I fall and I fall all the way. So yeah.
yeah. I love how you said she was a gift.
Yeah.
She was a gift. I love that. This conversation right here wasn't just about Jamil. It was about every person who's ever ignored the signs. You held on too long. You went back hoping it would feel different. And so I'll leave you with this. Are you choosing love or are you choosing familiarity? Because they are not the same. And one will grow you while the other one will break you. I am certified transformation life coach, international speaker, author, and business owner to Kenya K. Johnson. Until our next conversation with Jamil T. Huie, God bless you.